This is the Dull Man's Podcast, the podcast for dull men
and women
who get excited about dull things.
I'm Dave H and Deech, a stand-up comedian who shares his love of dullness with anyone who is prepared to listen. Now, I'm just 1/3 of what you'll be listening to.
I'm Faye Hatcher and I'm a broadcaster, podcaster, celebrant, fine artist, media trainer.
And I'm Dave Harris and I'm the producer of the show, and Deech allows me a microphone so I can put in my pound's worth as well.
You supply your own microphone, David. I don't think it's a matter of me allowing you. You bring your own kit to the party. But what are we talking about today, Dave?
Well, we've got all sorts of interesting things in the show today, Deech. Lawnmowers. I think that's the subject you are bringing to the table.
Yes, I've mowed my
very
lawn.
excited about. Faye's frustrations today. I've got a feeling you're going to be talking about a certain song contest, Faye.
Yeah, Eurovision Song Contest. Should I say whether I like it or
Great.
not at this point, or should I
save your opinions
save
for later?
it?
Yeah, and I'm bringing motorway services to the table because I can.
God, that's so dull.
I've mowed my lawn. First cut. There's always one person, usually one man in the street who mows his lawn, and then everyone's got to follow suit.
The domino effect.
It is. And then you've got to. It's like, oh, what have you done? Now mine looks overgrown, so I've got to do it. So I got out and I've mowed my lawn.
Can I just say, you mentioned the weather was good, Faye, and it obviously has been the last few days, and something that I really notice when the first good spring weather comes along, the lawn mowing starts, as you say, Deech, one person does it. Mm-hmm. Everybody follows suit.
Yes.
And you sort of, unless you live in the middle of nowhere and you've got no neighbours, you sort of hear a lawnmower symphony surrounding you.
Okay.
Because you hear, from far and near and medium, you hear people's lawnmowers, and they're all different.
Yeah.
A lot of people have electric lawnmowers. Some people have the old-fashioned, well, I say old-fashioned, I mean, you still buy them, petrol mowers.
That's what I have.
That sort of thing. Well, exactly.
Yeah. I have a Mountfield lawnmower which has a Honda engine.
Oh, wow.
Let that sink in.
That sounds exciting. So
do you ride it or do you push it?
I push.
And does it need servicing?
I do not.
I mean, do you have to service it every
I get it well serviced every year.
But this is my point. You see, there's so many different ones. There's sit-on mowers, there's push mowers, there's hover mowers, there's all these sorts of things. They all make a slightly different noise. And if you stand there in your neighbourhood,
you know who's mowing. That's John at number 32.
Of a Sunday afternoon, you can. Well, I'm not saying I would know who's mowing. That would be you'd have to be seriously good for that. But you get this almost musical
chorus.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it is quite a lovely sound,
I find
isn't
it
it?
Quite comforting, especially the distant ones. There's somebody mowing their lawn. I don't know.
There's something satisfying when you start your petrol mower up and you pull the cord, and it doesn't go first time. It might not go second time, but when it goes,
it's that action, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember my dad doing that.
And it's going.
Yeah, but it can get very frustrating if it won't start.
No, you've got to prime it. I've got a little button, and I do three little pushes on the button, and it gets it going. That's all it takes. Any more, it's too much. Any less, and it just.
And that is that sort of pulling the fuel into
it pushes the juice into where the juice needs to be.
You tell me know a lot about engines. Is that sort of pushing the fuel into the bit where it does that
Deech,
thing?
I'm just going to pull you up on something. You were saying men.
Yeah.
In our household, you were talking the other week about pink jobs, blue jobs.
Yeah.
In our household, it's 50-50.
Oh.
I really enjoy mowing the lawn.
Okay.
And I had a conversation with my husband the other day. The weather turned good.
Yeah.
And it was quite late. And I said, how late is it?
Late in the day, you mean?
Late in the day, yeah.
Yeah.
How late can you mow your lawn?
Well, that's a good question.
Legally?
No. I mean, it's socially.
Socially, yeah.
Okay.
We've got young children next door.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably
so beyond,
in their bed.
yeah,
so
someone's
it
trying
was
to do
7:30. I was
And
like, is this too late?
And also, how early? 'Cause
How early?
On a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
I get quite cross if people start knocking down walls at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning.
It should be 9, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Or just not at all.
Yeah,
Not on a
you
Sunday. You shouldn't be
never.
working. But yeah, I think it's usually 8 or 9, isn't it? You can't start.
Yeah,
Knocking
there
down
could well be
walls.
ancient bylaws. You can't light a fire. You're not allowed to smoke in public. You
Yeah,
can't mow a lawn.
But what about mowing your lawn? What is the
Yeah, the
latest
ancient bylaws
time?
didn't cover that because nobody had invented a lawnmower then.
Well, that is something I do want to talk about. Actually, the invention, the invention of the lawnmower, the man who was able to get my lawns. I go for stripes. What do you go for, Faye? Do you go stripes?
Stripes, yeah.
You see, my mower doesn't seem to do stripes.
Yeah, I mean, mine doesn't do stripes. I just do it up
Yeah.
and down. But yeah,
Oh yeah, you've got a fly mow,
got a
haven't
fly
you?
mow,
Yeah, so have I.
yeah.
And it doesn't. Stripes are not a thing.
It's not an option.
No,
but I go
you
up
just.
and down
I don't.
thinking I'm
I don't
doing the
understand the fly
stripes.
mow thing.
Well,
Why?
you have to go up and down because otherwise you wouldn't know where you'd got to.
Don't you go side to side
No,
in a
you
wave?
can do that. Like you're doing your vacuum cleaning. You go out to the side
That-
and out to the front
That
and out to
doesn't
the
make
side.
sense, though, to try and mow your lawn in a vacuum cleaner action.
Why
it just
not?
It just seems weird.
But say if you've got an awkward patch of
Okay.
grass.
You've got an undulating lawn.
Yes, and then there's a little bit that's sort of it's like an L shape, but yeah, it's not very big.
I'll tell you what I wore when I mowed my lawn the other day. And Faye, I actually think you're going to puke when you hear this.
Is it driving gloves?
No driving gloves.
Mankini?
No, I'm just gonna. I'm just.
sick to my
This
mouth.
is from the shin down. What I wore.
Shin pads,
No,
long socks,
I wore socks.
garters.
Socks. No,
Not socks and
Socks and
sandals.
sandals.
socks and Crocs.
Wow.
Oh, that's quite grim.
Yeah.
Socks and Crocs.
Yeah.
And with the socks pulled up, sort of around your calves.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was fully.
God.
You always have to wear shoes when you're mowing the lawn, and I always have to wear sunglasses.
You
no
always-
matter whether it's sunny or not.
What you want to look because you don't want anyone to recognise
No,
you.
no.
Oh, you just want to look really cool.
You've got to do it incognito.
I am worried that stones would throw up from the rotor and hit me in the eye.
Blimey.
Health and safety.
Health and safety.
Is
Yeah,
it?
Crocs are not good for mowing lawns. Not from a health and
You
safety.
need
I'd
a
like to
good
say-
steel toe cap
I take risks.
shoe
I
or
take
boot.
risks in every walk of life. I do.
You do.
That's
Life's
the-
not worth living without
It is.
a risk.
My brow was sweating. It's a high octane life that I have.
Are
You've
your
got a high
Crocs
octane mower.
pale blue and you had white socks with them? Because that's the image I've got in my head now.
Black socks, green Crocs.
What is that?
I know. And I put this on the Dull Man's Club Facebook page. That look, this is
went
what I wear.
wild.
I wear socks and Crocs. Deal with it. And then I had a lot of support from
Yes.
a lot of the Dull Men members. I also had people not liking that, getting angry. One woman described that as the best form of contraception.
Talk to your wife.
I got death threats and all sorts about that.
And the sock thing.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, it doesn't become relevant unless you're wearing shorts. Because obviously, if you're wearing long,
Yes, I was wearing shorts.
You were wearing shorts.
I was wearing.
I
I was
think
wearing
we need
what-
to just
shorts.
Yeah, yeah.
Because obviously, if you're wearing long trousers, nobody can
Doesn't
tell
matter.
what socks
That's
you're wearing.
right.
But if you're wearing shorts and you've got the socks pulled up around your calves,
Yeah.
that's a big no-no to me. I think
You're
that
not
is-
dull enough.
Well,
How short were your shorts?
How shorts
Were they above the knee,
they were
below the knee?
Kylie Minogue
or...
gold
Yeah.
shorts.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hot
I was
pants.
wearing nothing whatsoever.
Wearing hot pants.
That's right. I do it naked just so the neighbours don't think I married my wife for my money.
Who invented the lawnmower?
Well, now you asked that question. You should know, Faye.
Somebody who lives in Stroud.
Yeah,
Was
we
it
are.
Mr.
We are in
Suffolk
Stroud.
Punch.
No, there's a great drink named after him as well.
There is a drink.
More
I
clues?
don't want to credit the brewery yet
No.
with that until
We'd
they
love them
promise
to
to give me a
sponsor this episode.
or just a lifetime supply of their beer for me and all of my friends and you guys, obviously.
Dave doesn't know.
You know,
Dave doesn't know
I thought
this.
you were a man who should
We
know
know
everything.
something that Dave
I
doesn't
know.
know.
I'm gobsmacked by this.
Oh, right, I may have to resign, actually. This is-
Go on, get out. There's the door.
Please let me stay a bit longer.
Well, it was invented. The lawnmower was invented in 1830 by a man called Edwin Budding, and he was from Stroud.
There's a blue plaque.
There is a blue plaque.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very near a brewery in this location.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and he invented. So here's a question for you. He invented one other thing as well as the lawnmower. and I'm going to give you 3 options as to what he invented. Okay. Number 1, he's invented the lawnmower 1830. The mangle, or the adjustable spanner, or a lady's soothing sensual massager.
I'm going to go adjustable spanner.
Yeah, I think so. I think the mangle has been around a lot longer than that.
Nah, good fact. It was the spanner, actually. It was the spanner. Yeah. So let me give you some facts.
Because he'd have needed the spanner to adjust the lawnmower.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he thought, I've invented a lawnmower, but I don't know how to adjust
Can't
it.
get to that really awkward bit there.
Yeah.
I need an adjustable spanner.
That's how things work. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's needs must.
Yeah. You invent one thing and then the other.
And it inevitably leads to the other. Yeah.
Let me give you some facts anyway. So Budding's mower was designed primarily to cut the lawn on sports ground and large gardens as a superior alternative to the scythe. So, people using scythes were sort of going away and scything, and then somebody with a mower would be pushed past them.
Have you ever used a scythe? Incredibly hard work.
It is really difficult work, and I could just imagine someone like pushing a mower, just walking past someone with a scythe, going, "Hey, scythe wanker."
But there's a real technique to it as well. You can't just pick them up and do it. You have to learn.
Chop somebody's head off.
Well, quite. But I mean, to actually effectively cut grass or hay or whatever it is you're cutting, you got to know what you're doing, and it's hard.
The scythe unions would have been furious.
Come round here with your lawnmowers,
What's with this
taking
AI?
our jobs off us. Yeah.
The mower was pushed from behind by a man, no less, I would imagine, Faye, with motive power coming from the rear roller, which drove the gear wheels. Here's the interesting bit.
Wearing a pair of Crocs.
Wearing a pair of Crocs, the power ratio was 16-1, which I assume means for every 1 revolution of the rear roller, that would give you 16 revolutions of the knives.
God, this is so dull.
Yeah. It carries on. Here's the interesting bit. 2 of the earliest budding machines were sold to Oxford University and the recently established Zoological Gardens in Regent's Park, London.
Well, there you go. It's interesting that I love the way you punctuate all these facts with, and here's the interesting bit, as if somehow that's going to convince us, that what you're saying is interesting.
We're still waiting for the interesting bit.
I haven't got to the interesting bit yet. I have actually used a push lawnmower, as in one with no
engine. Yeah,
with no engine.
Work, aren't they? Yeah.
It is hard work.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, you use it once, and well, I'm not bothering with that again.
Yeah. And I once had an idea. I thought, this is how I'll keep myself fit. I'll mow the lawn with a manual with scissors, with a push lawnmower with no engine, and that will keep me fit. And I borrowed one off somebody to do this, and I did it once and thought, no, it's a bad idea.
I do cut my edges with scissors.
Okay.
Do you?
Yeah,
A very small pair of nail scissors?
No, kitchen scissors, but
blade.
I go around the edges with scissors. Yeah, just the bits that I can't get to.
I've used a leaf blower, and I've
ridiculous things.
and I set it to suck, and I was just thinking that you would get like tiny little insects, sort of what they're just sort of chatting to each other. It's like, and then one turns to the other, goes, "Hey Jeff, where's Jeff gone? Jeff, whoa!"
You're right, though. Leaf blowers are ridiculous.
They are, because one gust of wind and that's it.
And the idea that you blow your leaves into somebody else's garden.
Yeah, they can deal with it.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of our garden is artificial lawn, and so I use.
No, stop. This is a whole new subject now.
Leaf blowers and an artificial lawn.
Yeah.
We need to save artificial lawns for another day, because that is rich.
It's very controversial.
It's controversial.
Yeah, I was using my electric leaf blower on my artificial lawn. I thought Greta Thunberg would have me in a chokehold if she.
You're the very definition of everything she loathes.
Yeah, I am. I was going to do a selfie of me doing it, try and get it.
If you could have been mowing at the same time, if ever all your
just burning petrol for the sake of it,
all your gadgets on at once
in an oil drum
on your plastic lawn.
Yeah.
Deech, very excited because here we are. And we've got a brand new feature which is going to be in every podcast that we do from now on. And it's called Faye's Frustrations.
I'm smiling from ear to ear.
Because we all know that Faye gets frustrated
All right. It's got nothing to do with working with you two.
Well,
Perhaps I should rephrase that. We all know that Faye gets frustrated with certain things that happen in life.
Don't we all, though?
Well,
Don't
I have to say this. One of the early pilots that we did, and we were chatting about this, we brought in our frustrations, our sort of dull frustrations. And mine was mistakes in movies, and Faye's frustration was men who talk about mistakes in movies. So that clash was quite,
really.
I was like, okay, I like this dynamic.
But anyway, Faye, here we are. We've given you your own section now.
Wow.
What's
honoured.
irritating you?
So, let me take you back to Saturday night, and we had friends over, and we had a lovely meal.
Showing off already.
Yeah, got friends.
Lovely meal. Loads of booze, and I was mixing my drinks, so I already knew.
Can I just say, have you ever been invited to one of these?
No,
because I certainly haven't. I've
No.
known Faye for years.
Yeah.
Never had an invite.
That's why she's got friends, because she keeps us at arm's length.
These guests know how to use a knife and fork, so that's the only reason they got an
No,
invite.
I've got a lot of lawnmower banter I can bring to the party. Okay, and I tell you what, you'll need to mix your drinks.
So lots of
good.
drinks. Yeah.
Sorry, Faye. We're interrupting.
Wine.
Oh,
nice.
So we get the go. You've
Yeah,
had a good
yeah.
meal,
Ended
white
with
wine,
whiskey.
That's
Said goodbye
right.
to our
Charades.
friends. My husband put Nancy to bed, our daughter, and I thought, I'll just see what's on the telly.
She'd had 3 bottles of wine.
She done, yeah. Bang, Eurovision
right.
Song Contest.
Yes, right.
I'm not a fan.
No.
But you must have been getting quite late into it,
Yes.
turning it on at that
And
stage.
And it was still on. It was still
well, it
going.
goes on.
And they'd only just started
It was in day
on
3.
the flipping scoring system.
Okay.
Now that is dull, isn't it? That's really dull.
Yeah.
It just goes on and on and on. And they've streamlined it. I mean, I haven't seen it for years, but it's straight to the 12 points. Which
Yeah.
country would you like to?
Oh, is that what they
Your
do?
12
Just straight to the 12
Straight
points?
to,
Yeah.
yeah. And then you've got the delay between the countries, and that takes you look great. Oh, your hair is so beautiful. I love your dress. Get on with it. Just get on with it.
Yeah, can't they be a bit more matter of fact? Like almost, you look dreadful.
Or just skip all of that and just go, the winner is Switzerland.
Yeah.
End of show. Is it 4.5 hours long? Who's got the energy and
How is
stamina
How
to
is
keep
it
going
watching
through
it drunk,
that?
though? That's what I want to know.
Well, I was sort of...
Were you screaming at it and say, come here?
rubbish, come on.
I feel I must put the case for the defence here, if you don't mind, just to counter Faye's frustration a little bit. Because I actually, I have to admit that one of my guilty pleasures is watching Eurovision.
Okay.
And I did watch it last Saturday.
You shouldn't be guilty if you enjoy it.
Just
enjoy it, Dave.
And I
Don't
watch
be
it most
guilty.
years, and we usually get friends round. And when you said you had friends round, I thought you were having a Eurovision party.
No way.
So we do usually watch it with friends, and we did this Saturday. And if you do actually watch the whole thing, first of all, what you realise is that some of the music is good. It's not all Euro pap, and as we traditionally in this country view it. Some of it's really good and really interesting. And in fact, the winner this year was a great song and deserved to win. And Switzerland, by the way.
Yeah, that's
And,
what I said. Yeah. I did stay awake for that bit.
Good. But you didn't actually see the performance.
I watched
At the
it.
end.
The end. Yeah,
They do.
They did a
They
performance at the
repeat
end.
it, yeah. But anyway, so you watch it all, and then yes, you form opinions, and some of it you think is dreadful, and some of it you think, yeah, that's really good, really like that. And then then they do, as you say, the scoring, and they go over to each country in turn, and the glamorous presenters in the host country, in this case it was Sweden. They say, and now we go live over to Luxembourg. Please give us your scores, and then inevitably there's a sort of, oh, we've really enjoyed the show. It's been marvellous. Well done, Sweden, and all that sort of thing. And that is a bit tedious. And then as you say, they now all their scores up to 10 automatically go onto the board, so you see them going up, and the changes place, and then they say, and our 12 goes to, and then they say Switzerland, and there's a huge cheer, and the 12 goes on, and the scoreboard, because it's all computerized, the scoreboard changes automatically, unlike the way it used to work. And it's actually, once you get into it, it's quite sort of compelling.
What I did like, though, was UK's representative. And can you guess who it was? So who
who
talked
did-
about the Gauze.
No, I
So they
don't.
crossed live to the UK.
She was absolutely fabulous. That's a bit of a clue for you.
Oh, so it was either Jennifer Saunders or Joanna Lumley.
Joanna Lumley,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Hello, darling.
And she, it has to be said, she was quite a class act actually, because
Yeah.
she sort of did it all bilingually, and French is perfect, and
Of
and all
course.
that. And
Yeah, well, she could have said anything and no Briton would know. If she's,
no, but the host.
she
of
could
the
have just
show
said, oh,
would
he,
have-
ho, he, ho, he, ho, and that would have...
But no, she was good, wasn't she?
She was great.
Oh, okay.
And it was, and she'd obviously, it was scripted, but it was really well delivered, and it was so much better than quite a lot of them, where it was all sort
That
of
was the
chaotic.
most exciting part of the evening. Me and my family are going on holiday soon, and we
To
are
Sandbanks.
driving all the way to the south of France. And we've done this before. My husband loves driving. I'm like, why don't we just fly? We don't, think about the environment and everything like that. We don't fly very often. He's like, no, I really enjoy the journey. And the bit that I enjoy about the journey is stopping at French service stations, because the food is so much better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They
So
are.
much better.
They're classy, aren't they?
It's like eating out at a restaurant. But I know this is something that you
There you
are
go, Dave.
passionate about, Dave.
It is something I'm passionate about. Well, maybe passion is not quite the right word, but I'm very interested in service stations because, having been around so long and having travelled up and down the country with my parents as a kid and obviously later as a teenager and an adult, I've been to a lot of service stations over the years, and it's been very interesting watching them change, and not always for the better in some cases, but and I would say probably the biggest bugbear is just like the cost of things, the fact that fuel is so expensive.
They've
at
got
service
you, haven't they?
stations.
They've got you.
Yeah, and I just don't understand how they get away with that, because it's like, it could be 20p a litre more than on a high street or whatever. It seems absurd that they're allowed to do that. But as you say, if you are running out of petrol and you're on a motorway, you've got no choice. You've got to fill up there. But but there's some interesting stuff about motorway services, because
We'll be the judge of this.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
as this is the interesting bit. That's what Deech says,
I
isn't it?
love that we have to flag the bits.
Yeah. Well, look, I looked on Wikipedia, so this
So it's
may
all
be
true.
unreliable.
Yeah.
Unreliable facts here, but apparently there are 94 service areas in the UK at the moment listed.
Ooh, I think that deserves a... Come on,
I don't-
Deech.
I don't know if that's... Is that low or high? I don't know if that's... I don't know where
I
that
don't know.
sits. It's-
But
I'm
the-
surprised. I thought it'd be higher.
yeah.
Did you really? Right.
Higher.
But what's interesting is how a service area is defined. Okay,
Ah.
because the government define them.
Okay.
And if you apply to build one,
Right.
as a private operator, you have to fulfil these
Oh,
things.
there's certain things. You
gotta
have to overprice
food,
everything.
Food and drink. You got to rip people off with food and drink.
Yeah.
You got to give them free toilets.
Yeah, but they're impossible to find. You've got to be able to sort of
Not impossible to find.
navigate
They're
your
always
way through.
way at the back,
yeah.
aren't they?
Yeah,
Well, yeah, because they want you to
Tutankhamun
walk
would be
past all the
easier to
shops.
find than the gents' toilets at
Well,
Sandbank
it's
services.
like at airports where they make you walk right through the duty free to get to the departure lounge.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
absurd.
So a brew, a loo, and no view.
And vehicle, what they
Ah.
describe as vehicle servicing, which to me sounds like a mechanic's
Yeah,
shop.
it does, doesn't
but I
it?
think what they mean is you can buy
Petrol,
and
petrol.
fill up your windscreen washer. And,
Oh, okay.
and of course, these days the petrol stations sell coffee and rolls and
Yeah.
bacon sarnies and everything as well, don't they? So
Isn't it the most disappointing thing in the world when you're driving and you need to stop at a service station just to have something to eat? It's been a long journey.
Yeah.
And then you get that no food at
Oh.
this service station,
Yeah.
no toilets,
Nothing. No
Nothing.
toilet.
I've never had that experience.
nothing at all.
Really?
Yeah, it's usually in France, and it's just
Oh
basic.
well.
It's
okay.
just like a
well,
little-
they're different rules.
Different
I mean,
rules.
those are the
I didn't
French.
realise they had toilets anyway in France. They just have a hole, don't they?
Squatters.
It's been a while since I've been
They're
there.
very difficult to navigate as a lady.
But if I can drag you back to the British
Sorry.
experience,
Ah.
I think I've never come across a service station that didn't serve something. I mean, they have to by law
Yeah.
be open 24 hours. They have to serve food and drink. I mean, the food and drink at night may amount to a very
Gangster's pasty
yeah, if that,
in a
yeah.
microwave.
But in this country they're dominated by three main companies, and there's a fourth sort of pulling up the rear. But
Yeah.
Moto, Welcome Break, and Road Chef, with a company called Extra now coming on the scene. There's a few little independents as well, but
Do you know what
And,
the proudest moment of my life was?
Tell me.
The birth of your child.
No, it was when I went into the Gloucester service station, because I'm a Gloucestershire boy, and it was so good, and I was just so
amazing,
proud.
Yeah,
that
well,
they
that's a
did
very
that.
new one, of course.
It's a new one,
and that's
and
owned
you go
by
in there.
that's owned by a company called Westmoreland, and
Yeah.
they their thing is that all the produce has to be local.
It's all local. They've put grass on the roof of the building, so it looks like a nuclear bunker.
As long as it's not artificial grass
Yeah.
like you'd have put on, Deech.
That would have been easier. But there's loads of you
Can you
can go
imagine
there.
mowing that though? You'd like
Well, it's a
risk when
wild-
you're mowing.
You won't mow
You'd be
it.
in your
Man's
Crocs.
gone mad.
You'd be in your Crocs and your Kylie hot pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mowing a
People
roof.
would have crashes, wouldn't they?
They
on
would.
the M5.
Yeah.
They'd be like, what?
Crashes or crushes. But you can take your kids there. You can leave them, come back, pick them up 2 hours
You
later.
can't
There's
do
loads-
2 weeks
that.
later.
You can, it's got a
can't
nice
do
lake. You can, oh well, that's my childcare for today obliterated.
Yeah.
But that's a really when I had that Scotch egg, when I had that black pudding Scotch egg, I actually got emotional. I was so proud that they'd managed to do this northbound
It
and
is
southbound.
lovely. It's very expensive, but then where isn't expensive
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the motorway?
I mean,
Do you know what I mean?
You can sort of buy gifts and things there. You know, it's the quality of the stuff there is such that you could buy presents for people you were going to visit and all
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Yeah, you can buy a tyre inflator for
Let
Mother's
me,
Day.
let me ask you a question. Let me give you a little quiz. I want you to tell me when the first service station was opened
I'm going to just
and
Just-
where.
I'm going quick.
For a bonus.
1972, M1 northbound. Was it the Watford Gap?
I'm
Well,
going to go
that's-
63 M6.
Okay. Well, it was the M1
Oh.
Well done.
because it's number one. It's the first motorway.
Of course.
Think about it.
Not the first one finished, but
But
there
it
we go.
wasn't Watford Gap.
Ah,
It was Newport Pagnell. The 15th of August 1960.
Oh, I was 3 years out.
I was way out.
12 years before you said, I think.
Yeah.
And Watford Gap opened a month later.
Ah,
There you
beaten
go.
by
Yeah.
just a month later.
a month later. And when
Those slackers at the Watford Gap. Why
Yeah,
can they
I
give
know.
me some
Too
glory?
busy eating bacon
Yeah,
butties from
yeah.
the service
But interestingly,
station.
when they first started building service, I said interestingly there, didn't I? Just this is an interesting fact.
Stay
when
awake!
When they started
Stay
building
awake.
service stations, they were very aspirational, and they thought, oh, we're going to have these wonderful, modern sort of things which people will want to visit. It'll be an event visiting these places. So they built them with viewing platforms and bridge. The restaurants were in the bridges over the
Yes.
thing.
They look futuristic,
And
some of them,
they
don't
look
they?
Well, there's this one. There's Lancaster, which has this famous
brilliant.
flying saucer.
Yeah,
Huge.
I love that.
For those of you who've not seen it, you can't miss it if you go up the M6. It's
Well,
it's a huge tower
it
with a
look-
flying saucer on top.
Yeah, it looks like what you have at an airport.
Yeah,
The
control tower.
Control tower.
It does. It looks like a very
I
large
love
control
those
tower.
connecting bridges.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really love those.
But this
Just
flying
see if it's
saucer.
any different on the southbound
Yeah.
to the northbound. Exactly the same.
Yeah,
But the flying saucer was a restaurant originally.
right.
And it was very popular. Oh, well, I say it was popular. I mean, presumably people enjoyed using it, but it didn't make money because people maybe didn't have the time to stop for a meal.
Oh, they would
and-
just mooch.
So the aspirational thing about sitting on the bridge, eating your meal, or up in the tower in the restaurant, it died the death.
Well, that's
And that tower
poor business.
at Lancaster, it's closed.
They
now.
should have opened it up for weddings and all sorts.
Yeah, but you can't even go up it now. It's not. It's just closed off. And I think that's really sad. You'd think it'd be a good viewing platform if nothing else.
Yeah.
But I guess it's.
Have
Stick
parties
the
up there.
RAC up there, I reckon.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Right, yeah, they like those sorts of places.
Yeah, they
don't
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good
And,
visibility.
But yeah, so the whole sort of thing of the aspirational, place you want to visit, that all disappeared after a few years, and they became very, stop here for a cup of tea and a bag of chips type
Yeah.
thing, and a bit sad.
It's
really.
almost as if they've priced themselves out of the market. Now, I use service stations a lot because I'm usually out gigging, I'm travelling. I'm usually walking across those bridges at 1 o'clock in the morning, which is really depressing, actually. It is really, it's horrible, actually, going to these services. But the thing which always gets me is you have Krispy Kreme donuts at most services. Sometimes
like
they
your
have their own
donuts,
little vans.
don't
I
you?
do like donuts, but the Krispy Kremes, they're not my favourites, but they are nice. But they're so blinking expensive. Do you know how much a dozen can cost?
£24.
You've absolutely nailed it. £24, that's the starting price as well. It can go up to £32.90 for a dozen. Now,
You get 5 in Tesco's for £1.
Exactly.
yeah. So that's all we've got time for today's Dull Man's podcast, a podcast for dull men and women who get excited about dull things. Dave, what's coming up on the next episode?
On the next episode, we are going to be talking about Harry Ramsden's. We're going to the fish and chip shop.
Lovely.
We're going to be talking about women in film.
Mm-hmm. And their underrepresentation.
Indeed. And Faye's frustrations. Ooh. Faye, what are you going to talk about?
So I'm going to be talking about PIN number slips that your bank send through the post.
That sounds incredibly dull. I'm really looking forward to that.
Faye's going to be giving out her PIN number next week. So don't forget to join us anywhere you get your podcasts from. And please, if you're on a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group, send a link to our podcast to all of your friends. And if you've got any enemies, send them that as well. So I'm Demetrius Deech. Thanks to Faye Hatcher and Dave Harris. Join us next time for another fantastic episode of the Dull Man's podcast. Dave?
Yes, Deech.
Oh, I've forgotten what I was going to ask now. I got excited.
You give him one job.
I know. He just fluffs his line.
Yeah.